Is playing this way and Zach Charbonnet is running like this is one of the best teams in the Pac-12. So I think we talked about I said on our last show, like UCLA was kind of like the Ole Miss of the Pac-12 to me. I didn't know they were 4-0 versus a bunch of garbage teams. They have looked good, but it was hard to know really how much to value that 4-0 start. But I would say what they did for the first three quarters to Washington absolutely blew the brakes off of them. So, yeah, I was pretty impressed with what I saw from UCLA this weekend.
Next up, TCU. You were right on the money with this one. I stuck around with Oklahoma a little too long here. It looks like the Sooners get blown out again, this time on the road in Horned Frog country. Max Duggan just puts on a clinic in this one. Ted Roof. I mean, we should also mention there was an extremely dirty hit in this one that knocked Dylan Gabriel out of the game. A linebacker comes flying in super late, saw Gabriel slid and just could have obviously knocked Gabriel out of the game. And he got a targeting call for that one and was tossed, and rightfully so. It was rough for Gabriel and company, but OU, they have a Ted Roof problem, Matt Green. Brent Venables brings in Ted Roof, and Ty Hildenbrandt of the Solid Verbal has been on this for a while, dating back to when Ted Roof was the DC for Notre Dame years ago. But wherever he goes, Georgia Tech, you go up and down the list of Ted Roof stops. It's just a leaky defense. It doesn't go well. You don't want him in the room a little bit. It's basically where we're at. And no offense to Ted Roof personally. It's just the defenses are not good, and we should have seen this coming a little bit with Ted Roof being brought in. So I wonder if his days are numbered in Oklahoma country. But Max Duggan deserves all the praise here. He was the story. 302 passing yards, 3 TDs, 116 rushing yards, 2 TDs. Now, out of all FBS, 131 programs, Max Duggan is first in passer rating and first in yards per attempt. And the guy wasn't even supposed to start this year and was backing up Chandler Morris. And Morris gets hurt, and the rest is history. What did you make of the Horned Frogs pulling the upset over the Oklahoma Sooners, Matt Green?
Yes, sir. History repeated itself back in 2020 when Oklahoma opened the season to losing to Kansas State in Big 12 play, and they dropped to 0-2 on their way to the Red River Shootout. So yeah, I feel like TCU they just did everything they wanted to offensively. Like almost 700 yards of offense in this game, 360 on the ground. Like they were just absolutely torching this Oklahoma defense. Max Duggan, that was my helmet sticker for the week. You mentioned everything he did. 300 yards through the air, over 100 on the ground, 5 total touchdowns. Like, what was this, 41-17 at the half, 27 in the first quarter? Like, they could not be stopped. Like, and Venables, like, I saw a funny meme, like, on Saturday, someone saying, I guess Oklahoma should have gone the defensive coach route after Venables this Oklahoma defense got absolutely torched. So, yeah, it's I think Brent Venables. I think that's that's a Padres player, Will Venable, back in
he's
like
an outfielder.
10 years
I know
ago.
what you're talking about. Yeah.
Brent Venables. I think he had the most unfortunate position of every year one head coach because like Dan Lanning, like he walked into a pretty good situation in Oregon, like where their coach left. It's like this is a rebuild where the guy got fired. Like we know about obviously Miami and Cristobal. There's new coaches all over the country, but none of the other coaches did the head coach take like 20 of the best players on the team and also the best recruits that were committed. Like so he has this perception of like Oklahoma isn't a rebuild. We're competing for the Big 12 every year. You can just come in and just keep things going. But this actually was more of a rebuild than I think many of us gave it credit for in the off season. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for them to start 0-2 and now have the Red River Shootout, potential to start 0-3 in conference. That's not how you want to start things off as the Oklahoma head coach.
Where would you put them right now? I would even have them behind Texas, and I think the Vegas odds do too. I mean, I think Texas is favored out of the gate for the Red River Shootout going into this
Well,
week.
they talked about Ewers being back this past week, but
Well, he's definitely coming back
now-
for Oklahoma, it looks like.
I think he is. So I think that really changes things. I think the ceiling of this Texas team seems a lot different with Ewers in. So, I mean, early, I don't know what the line is, but I'm definitely feeling Texas so far.
Well, my thing is, if you had to do 1 through whatever, I mean, right now, the teams that I think are better, and who would have had this before the season? The teams that I think right now are better than Oklahoma in the conference: Texas, Kansas State, TCU, Oklahoma State, Kansas, and Baylor.
I don't know if I would say Kansas definitively right now, but I would agree with you on all those others.
Who had that before the year? Pretty wild.
Yeah,
pretty
what
wild.
was that 5 teams you named?
Yeah.
6 teams?